Miles here with Wilco Land. I've got a half an acre, southern Utah, just east of St. George, on the way to Zion National Park. It's really cool property on a scenic highway. Let me give you a bird's eye view of the location. We've got Zion here. Highway 9 is a scenic highway heading into Zion. All throughout here, where I'm showing you, is a lot of public land. So BLM lands, off-roading trails, ATV, dirt bike, jeeping, hiking. This is really a mecca of outdoor recreation and really fast growing area as well. So you've got Page, Arizona, and Lake Powell down here. So really good kind of home base for recreation. What I did to find the location of the property was simply copy and paste these GPS coordinates. For those looking to visit properties, I'm going to cover that in this video. A lot of FAQs, right? So you're looking to visit it, you have questions about water and utilities, things like that, I'm here to address those. So pay attention for the next couple minutes. I'll talk about this property and feel free to go look at it yourself anytime. So number one, using the GPS coordinates to visit the property. You can use a couple tools. You've got Google Earth, and this is Google Earth, and I'm looking at the property here on Google Earth. You can see it right here. You can use Google Earth, and here's a little access point. Actually, this is state lands. So this is a state lands trust property all throughout back here too. And I'll get to Onyx Maps, which is my favorite app for land visits, and I'll show you why. First, I want to show you the street views here though. Let's get a good look at what this property looks like. You can use this on Google Earth or Google Maps. So for those out of state, for those that don't want to visit it, you're going to get a pretty good idea of the property right here. You see power lines right here. Power lines are one of the least of my concerns when I'm seeing this right next to the property. So here we are looking at the property. Nice views, cliffed out in the back of it, good vegetation, a flat property, good low spot for building. Power lines are right there. When it comes to development, you're going to need a well for water, which this property doesn't have water rights, that's a case for a lot of property in Utah. So keep that in mind. You can apply for water rights with the state. There's ways to obtain water rights. There's ways to put a well in without water rights. There's other forms of getting water, right? Delivery. There may be a water company delivery or a water provider in the area. So those are some things you can look into. When it comes to development, in terms of sewage, you're going to put a septic system in. So there's no well, there's no septic that currently exists on the property. This is a raw, undeveloped piece of land. The way you can find water rights is right here, Utah Division of Water Rights. While I'm on that subject, hop online and they've got a bunch of great GIS and maps. This is our little property here. This blue is indicating state land trust. This is indicating BLM land. You can see nearby, there's a couple wells and they have details right here. And they'll have details on the well. Here's a well log as well. So they will have details on these well logs behind the property too. And what that does, it gives you insight into how deep the water table is. So this is a cool application that Utah offers. Again, going back to visiting the property, I highly recommend using an app like Onyx Maps. All I'm doing is copying and pasting the GPS coordinates in Onyx Maps. I do have map layers on. If you go to Utah, you want to go to private ownership, and that's going to show you owners, right? And so here's our property, this little triangle. It's going to show you owners, and it's going to show you the parcel lines. And when you're out here, if this app is on your phone, you do need the premium version to get these lines on your phone. There'll be a little dot, when you're walking, the GPS is tracking you. Look at my mouse on the screen. When you're on the property, you'll be able to look down on your phone, exactly what we're looking at here, and see your dot. And as you walk the property, that dot will follow you to this corner and this corner. It's going to give you a really good idea of what you're buying, right? If you really want specifics and you want to know exactly the boundaries of your property, I highly recommend a survey. Before building, I highly recommend a survey. It's not required. If you're just going to use it for recreation or an investment right now, no need for a survey right away. You're not too worried if your parcel line is, 3 feet over from where you think it is. It's not that big of a deal. You're not investing into it. But when it comes to investing into your property, I would get a survey. And again, an access point here. It looks like people have been traveling this route. I don't know why or for what, but this is Utah state lands. So I don't know all the rules around Utah state lands, if it's treated the exact same as BLM land or if it's treated differently. So that's something maybe you can check in with the county with. But to my knowledge, and if we zoom out here, we can see this is a huge chunk of state trust lands. You can see there's trails on it. Typically, those are publicly accessible. And you can see the rest of the property here is private ownership. But as we zoom out, this is all BLM land. This yellow, that's all public lands. And I'm going to keep zooming out here. Behind the property, so just south of it, this is, again, state trust lands, a big chunk of state trust lands. These are, ATV. If I click on the trail, it'll say 73Q, motorized roads and trails. So, right, this is like a jeeping trail, dirt bike, whatever you want to call it. But this is all going through Utah state trust land. So it really points at them being treated similar to BLM lands, which everything around here is BLM lands. This is over 1 million acres, 1.6 million acres. If I'm reading that right, I mean, that's a lot of BLM land. This is all, jeeping trails, hiking trails back here in the White Cliffs. You can see to the south of the property, there's all sorts of recreational activity and opportunity. We talked about the location being close to Zion as well. So keep heading a little further west. We're in Zion National Park. We're at Zion Canyon. I mean, here's the property, Zion Canyon. Like I said, a really, really cool location. That's the #1 selling point on the property. I've talked about how to access it. We're really using GPS coordinates. We're using apps like Google Earth. If you're interested in how big the property is, like how wide it is, we'll have some photos in the listing, but you can also use Google Earth to measure. So let's say I wanted to measure from here to here. That's about 88 yards. The frontage of the property on Highway 9, say I wanted to advertise how much road frontage there is on Highway 9 here, 120 yards. So it's definitely a big enough property to do something with. Like I said, the zoning, it's geared towards residential development, small scale residential development on this scenic highway. We touched on development. We touched on, well would be the case here, some sort of delivery water. Septic system would be the case for sewage. Visiting the property, make yourself at home, go visit it, check it out. In all reality, this is a parcel overlay map. You can kind of see, you'd build your driveway in off the road like this person did. So yeah, I mean, this is your access point off the highway here. If there's anything fenced along the highway, this is an alternative access route. You can kind of come in, or if you just want a safer route to come in here and park your car, maybe check in with State Lands Trust, but I'd go that way if it were me. So that'd be how I access the property. There's not much I'm missing on this property. We do have a website with other listings in Utah if you're in the market. I've got a 30 acre down in Kanab area, right off Highway 89. And we do offer more of a self-service model. Seller financing is offered on all of these properties. I'm here to help you out with some questions. Give our website a look. One of my favorite blogs is the blog talking about Onyx for successful land visits. So if you are in the market and looking to go visit some of these properties, that's a good app to look at. Otherwise, you've got our homepage you can browse through. Give me a call if you have any questions. My name's Miles, 605-250-1256. Thanks for listening.